Alright, so this is one of those matchups where I've gone back and forth a bunch of times, and at first I was leaning, I'm not gonna lie, Gene Silva. The guy is explosive, flashy, and when he lands, people go to sleep. He's got that highlight reel energy, that kind of energy that gets a TikTok edit made after every win. But the closer we got to the fight, and the more of the film I watched, I started to change my mind. Now, there's more to this one than just speed and power. Silva's got some holes, especially in the grappling department, and Bryce Mitchell, for all his awkwardness on the feet, might be the exact kind of guy to be able to expose him. This fight is a lot closer than people think, and I think it comes down to whether Bryce sticks to his strengths or he gets caught up trying to prove something on the feet. So let's break it all down. Silva striking, Bryce is wrestling, what the film will say, and ultimately who I think is walking out with the win. So let's talk about Bryce Mitchell for a second, because I think a lot of people sleep on just how effective this guy is when he sticks to what he does best. And honestly, I think some people just straight up think that he sucks. Like, ever since the Josh Emmett knockout, the vibe around Bryce has been different. People see him getting caught on short notice, stepping in against a guy with some serious power. And suddenly it's like, oh, Bryce is mid, he's overrated, he's washed. But I don't think that's fair at all. Emmett landed a perfect shot. That's what he does. And Bryce stepped up with no full camp against a veteran's puncher and paid the price. It happens, but that fight doesn't erase what he's done in the cage before that. Not even close. Now, yeah, I get it. The striking doesn't look great. He's got that wide stance, his hands are low, he throws these weird side kicks and oblique kicks that sometimes feel more annoying than threatening. And yeah, against a guy like Gene Silva, who's sharp and explosive, that's risky. It really is. But what people overlook is what Bryce is doing behind all that. He's not trying to win a striking match, he's trying to push you back, get you uncomfortable, and once you're near the cage, he's shooting. That's his rhythm. It's unorthodox, it's kind of awkward, but it works, man. Go back and watch his fight with Edson Barboza, because Barboza is one of the most dangerous strikers in the division, and Bryce didn't just take him down, he pinned him down, controlled him, beat him up, and people forget Bryce actually dropped Edson in the first round, not because he's a crazy boxer or anything, but because his rhythm is so offbeat, it's hard to time. You expect him to shoot, and boom, he throws a punch, and it caught Edson clean. Then there's the Dan Ige fight. There's a moment in that fight where Dan ends up on top, and Bryce somehow scrambles and ends up taking Dan's back, and that's what I'm getting at here. Bryce has that weird, almost funky grappling style, like he'll lose a position for a second, and somehow before you blink, he'll be on your back, hooks in, flatten you out, and it's just a nightmare to deal with. And what really changed it for me, and this is something you don't really hear a lot of people talk about, is how easily he got Ilia Toporia's hips. Now, Ilia popped up right away, which speaks to how good he is. But Bryce, he still got him. Single leg, ran the pipe, and took him down. And we're talking about Ilia here. Undefeated, beast. So if Bryce can get to Ilia, he can definitely get to Gene Silva, you know what I'm saying? And look, it's not that he just takes guys down, it's what he does with it. Once he gets that control, he's heavy. He's not a guy that just lays and pray, he advances. He's looking for the back, threatens submissions. That's why I think this fight is going to be dangerous for Silva. Not because Bryce is going to dominate the feet, but because once he gets to the mat, it could snowball. And we've seen Silva get taken down. We've seen sparring footage showing it. Charles Jourdain took him down 3 different ways, single leg, double leg, and just turning the corner against the cage. That's a pure striker doing that. What's going to happen when Bryce Mitchell, a legit grappler with that funky Arkansas chain wrestling style, starts hunting takedowns over and over again? It's not flashy, it's not viral, but it works. And in this matchup, I really think it could be a deciding factor. So people can clown the Emmett loss all they want, but that doesn't change who Bryce Mitchell is when he fights smart. And if he shows up focused, this is his fight to lose. Now let's go ahead and flip the lens a bit, Let's talk about Gene Silva, because here's the thing. I was picking Gene Silva early on. No shame in saying that. I bought into it. The highlight reels, the swagger, the speed. He's got all of that. You can watch his last fight, with Costa. Or you'll see what he did at Drew Dober, and you're like, damn, this guy is different. He's explosive, he's violent, and he's fun. It feels like he's got that aura about him. Like, if he catches you once, it's lights out. And that's the type of fighter who always has fans behind him. They don't even need to say a word. The knockouts do all the talking. But when I actually sat down and really watched the film, like really watched it, slowed it down, broke it down, it changed everything, because Silva is not what I thought. He's not that consistent pressure machine. He's not that marauder who overwhelms people with pace and volume. He's actually the opposite. He's calculated. He's patient, almost too patient at times. He'll stand there in the center of the feet, planted, barely moving. It's like he's waiting, reading, trying to download his opponent's movements, and he's got really good eyes. Don't get me wrong, when he's explosive, he knows where to go. But it's all about the explosive. It's moment based. He's not piecing you up with volume. He's not throwing 6-punch combos or chopping your legs down for 3 minutes straight. It's a jab, pause, maybe a low kick, reset. Wait for your mistake, and then he explodes forward. And when he explodes, yeah, it's dangerous. Super clean mechanics. Fast, powerful. That switch on kill shot is real. If Bryce stands in front of him for too long or leans into something, it could absolutely be lights out. That's what makes this fight so tricky to call. Gene doesn't need 10 minutes, he'll just need one clean window. One opening, that's it. That's dangerous here. He doesn't need a wrestling game plan or a cardio advantage. If Bryce gets too confident or too sloppy or tries to prove that he can strike, Silva can turn the lights off just like that. But here's the concern. When that opening doesn't come right away, Gene slows down. You can kind of see that frustration build. And if you're someone like Bryce who mixes things up like striking and focusing on cage pressure and takedowns, that can start to add up. We've seen it before. Charles Jourdain took him down multiple times. That's not even a grappler. That's a striker. But Jourdain was able to shoot, chain a couple takedowns together, and get Silva down clean in the open and against the cage. That tells me his takedowns defense is raw. Not terrible, but not solid enough for someone like Bryce Mitchell who lives in that space. And even behind the scenes, there's sparring footage out there where Gene's getting taken down over and over again. Now, I get it, it's sparring, that's not everything, but it lines up with what we're seeing on tape. He's explosive, but that base underneath him, that anti-wrestling, the scrambles, it's not polished. So yeah, Gene Silva is dangerous, like seriously dangerous. If he wins this fight, it's probably going to be by knockout or TKO. And if he does knock out Bryce Mitchell, it's going to be a viral moment. TikTok edits, fans going nuts, the whole bit. It'll be like, I told you so moment for everyone who bought into the Silva hype. And I get it, I do. And listen, I still think that's a very real possibility. He could take Bryce's head off if Bryce gets too casual or starts playing games on the feet. It's not out of the question at all. But if the window doesn't show up early, if Bryce doesn't give him that clean read or that perfect range, I think we're going to see Silva slowly get unraveled. The patient style starts to work against him, the takedowns start coming, and it turns into survival mode. And if you ever seen a Bryce Mitchell fight, once he's on your back, it's not where you want to be. And look, man, Gene Silva can win this fight, no doubt about it. The guy's explosive, he's got power, and if he lands early, it could be lights out. But here's the thing, we just haven't seen him fight a truly well-rounded opponent like Bryce Mitchell before. Yeah, this is the big test, and honestly, I think Bryce is super underrated. The way he's able to slip shots, get inside, from with dangerous strikers like Barboza or even Topuria, it's impressive. He times those takedowns really well, gets to the hips, and once he gets you on the ground, it's trouble. And we've seen Gene get taken down plenty of times. It's not like we're guessing here. That's why I don't think it's a good stylistic matchup for him. I see this going all 3 rounds, or it's going to end up, with a submission. Probably in the second round. That's where I'm at. Now, if Gene's going to win, it's got to be early, either by catching him, with something big, or showing us a whole level of grappling defense that we've never seen before. This is the test. And personally, I hope Gene Silva does pull it off. There's a lot of hype behind him, and it'll be awesome to see a hype train actually go the distance for once. We haven't seen that in a while. So yeah, fingers crossed, this one lives up to the potential.